How much should you train to build muscle? Enough to stimulate muscle growth, but also not so much that you're not able to recover for your next workout. This golden training volume range is called maximum adaptive volume, which is the amount of volume that will lead to the best possible gains. Just to clarify, training volume is measured as the number of working sets, or sets of 5 to 30 reps and at least 3 reps away from failure. If a set doesn't meet even one of these criteria, it's not a working set simply because it's not maximally effective. So whenever I'm talking about sets, know that I'm talking about working sets, not just any kind of sets. To illustrate two extremes, imagine the following two scenarios. In scenario 1, you do just one working set in a workout, but in scenario 2, you do 20. If you're not a complete beginner, you're probably not going to stimulate much muscle growth in the first scenario, even if you were to work out every day. But in scenario 2, you'll damage your muscles so much that most of your resources will go to recovery without leaving much for adaptation. This means that it's not only possible to train too little, but it's also possible to train too much. But how can you find the right balance between these two extremes? By listening to your body. Of course, your body isn't going to tell you in clear English how much you should train to build muscle, although that would make this process a whole lot easier. It'll give you subtle clues that you have to be aware of. The first cue is the pump. If you don't get a pump at all, you're probably not doing enough sets. But if your pump is so crazy that it feels like your muscles are about to explode, you're probably doing too many sets. In the ideal scenario, you should get a nice pump, but it shouldn't be so extreme as to make your muscles useless. The second cue is strength loss. If after a back workout you can do just as many pull-ups as you could before it, you're probably not doing enough sets. But if you're not able to even lift your arms, you're probably doing too many sets. In the ideal scenario, you should feel weaker after a workout, but you should still be able to brush your teeth and take off your clothes. And the third cue is soreness. If on the same day or the day after your workout you don't even feel like you worked out at all, you're probably not doing enough sets. But if you're still sore going into the next workout of that same muscle group, you're probably doing too many sets. In the ideal scenario, you should get sore after a workout, but you should feel perfectly fine going into your next workout. These three cues can help you figure out if you're doing enough volume, but the most important cue is your performance in the next workout. If you're able to beat or at least match your previous performance, you're by definition recovered and not training too much. Of course, if you take only this cue into account, you could also be training too little because your performance in the next workout won't reflect it. So in this case, pay attention to the previously mentioned cues. But if you're not able to beat or at least match your previous performance, you're by definition not recovered and training too much. If you notice this cue, you can forget about all the other cues, since a drop in performance is the clearest sign of under-recovery. So, now you theoretically know how much you need to train by taking into account the symptoms of too little and too much training volume. But how do you put this information into practice? The first thing that you need to do is choose your training frequency. Since the most effective training frequency for a muscle group is 2 to 4 times per week, let's say you chose 3. In the first workout, you need to choose an amount of sets that will stimulate muscle growth, but also allow you to recover for your next workout. If you get a good pump, feel weaker after the workout, experience soreness that dissipates right before your next workout, and are able to beat or at least match your previous performance in the next workout, you're doing enough sets. On the other hand, if you don't experience these cues at all, you're not doing enough sets. But if your performance hasn't recovered in your next workout, the rest of the cues don't matter, as you're obviously under-recovered and doing too many sets. This process should continue for a couple of weeks until you reach a point where you can no longer recover from your usual training volumes due to cumulative fatigue. Then you should take a deload week and repeat this whole process again with lower training volumes. To give you at least some idea of where to start, 2 to 6 sets are the optimal number of sets for a muscle group in one workout. Start in this range and adjust the volume by listening to your body. Just keep this in mind. Be conservative with choosing and increasing your training volume. Doing too little is much better than doing too much because you will still stimulate some muscle growth, but you won't have to deal with excessive fatigue that will develop if you do too many sets. It's like pouring milk in a glass. If you don't pour in enough, you can always add more, but if you pour in too much, you have to clean up the mess, which takes more work than simply adding more milk. Therefore, when choosing the number of sets, it is better to start with 2 to 4 sets, and if you feel the need to increase the number of sets, do it 1 set at a time. No one is going to give you a medal for doing 10 sets and losing the ability to straighten your arms for 2 days. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below what kind of videos you would like to see from me more. And have an awesome day. Peace!